If you are sitting there right now thinking that having $1 million in your bank account means you have won the game, that you are safe, that you can finally kick back on a beach and sip margaritas until the end of your days, then I have some terrible news for you. You are not preparing for a life of luxury. You are actively preparing to be poor. You are walking blindfolded into a buzzsaw. Welcome to the era of the high-class poor. I am King, and I am a financial illusionist decoder. My job is to look at the numbers that the media feeds you, the numbers your parents told you were safe, and tear them apart to show you the ugly machinery underneath. In this video, I am going to destroy the biggest lie of the 21st century. I am going to show you why $1 million is actually pennies compared to what you think it is, and I am going to show you exactly how to escape this trap before the system chews you up and spits you out. If you do not want to be greeting customers at a retail store when you are 90 years old just to afford your blood pressure medication, hit that subscribe button and like this video right now. We are about to rewrite your entire financial reality. Let's go. Let's start with the cold hard math, because numbers do not have feelings and they certainly do not care about your dreams. You have been sold a bill of goods called the $1 million retirement. It sounds sexy. It sounds like a finish line. But let's actually look at the purchasing power of that money. We need to talk about the monster in the room that everyone ignores until it eats their lunch, and that is inflation. But not the inflation the government tells you about. I am not talking about that cute little CPI number they massage to keep the stock market from crashing. I am talking about real-world purchasing power. If you had $1 million in the year 2000, you were rich. That money could buy you 2, maybe 3 solid houses in a decent suburb. It generated enough safe interest to live like a king. Fast forward to 2024. That same $1 million buys you maybe a mediocre 2-bedroom apartment in a city where jobs actually exist, and a used Honda. That is it. The party is over. If we look at the raw data, the purchasing power of the dollar has collapsed so aggressively that $1 million today is effectively worth about $400,000 to $500,000 in turn of the millennium money. Think about that. Would you feel safe retiring on 400 grand? Of course not. That is barely a safety net, let alone a nest egg. Yet you are chasing this 7-figure number like it is the holy grail. The math is literally broken. You are using a calculator from 1995 to plan for a life in 2050. It is absolute insanity. But wait, it gets much worse. The general inflation rate is bad enough, but there is a specific type of inflation that is acting like a sniper rifle aimed at your retirement fund. It is called medical inflation. Data consistently shows that the cost of healthcare rises at double or sometimes triple the rate of standard inflation. As you get older, your spending shifts. You stop buying cool gadgets and clothes, and you start buying knee replacements, insulin, and assisted living care. Let's look at the terrifying reality of long-term care. A semi-private room in a nursing home can easily cost $8,000 to $10,000 a month right now. A month, do the math on that. That is over $100,000 a year just to have a bed to sleep in when you are 80. If you live for 10 years in that condition, that is your entire $1 million gone. Poof, vaporized into the pockets of the healthcare system. You are not saving for your retirement. You are essentially acting as a pass-through entity, holding money for a hospital. You are saving to pay a bill that hasn't arrived yet, and that bill is going to be astronomical. Then we have to address the elephant in the room, which is the famous 4% rule. Financial planners love this rule. They treat it like religious scripture. The idea is that you save up a pot of money, invest it in a mix of stocks and bonds, and withdraw 4% of it every year to live on, adjusting for inflation. So if you have that magical $1 million, the 4% rule says you can safely pull out $40,000 a year. Let's pause and really think about that. $40,000 a year. In what world is $40,000 a year a comfortable retirement? In most major cities, $40,000 a year is poverty. It is scraping by. It is choosing between heating your home and buying quality food after taxes. Because remember, Uncle Sam always gets his cut from your 401k withdrawals. You are looking at maybe $2,500 a month in spendable cash. That is your rent, That is it. No travel. No gifts for the grandkids. No emergencies. Just existence. You spend 40 years working your fingers to the bone, sacrificing your youth, missing out on life, all to reach the finish line and find out that your prize is a budget that barely covers a studio apartment and a diet of instant noodles. The logic is flawed, the premise is broken, and the people teaching you this stuff are wealthy enough that the rules don't apply to them, or they are just repeating what they read in a textbook written 50 years ago. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking that maybe if you just scrimp and save a little harder, if you skip the latte, if you drive the beater car for another 5 years, you will get ahead. This brings us to the emotional side of this disaster, because the math is depressing, but the psychological toll is devastating. Let's talk about the hamster wheel. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about a guy named Alex. Alex is 27. He is a good guy. He listened to his parents. He went to college, got the degree, got the corporate job. He saves 20% of his income religiously. He doesn't go to Europe in the summer. He doesn't buy bottle service at the club. He puts his head down and grinds. And every year he looks at his net worth and it goes up a little bit. Maybe he hits 100,000. He feels a momentary spark of pride. But then he looks at the housing market. The house that cost 300,000 when he started saving now costs 600,000. He looks at the grocery store. The steak he used to buy for a treat is now double the price. This is the concept of the moving finish line. It is psychological torture. It is the feeling of running on a treadmill that is slowly increasing its speed. You are running faster and faster, your lungs are burning, your legs are shaking, but the scenery never changes. You are not getting closer to the goal, you are just getting more tired. This leads to a deep, simmering anxiety that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. It's that gnawing feeling in your gut that says, I am doing everything right, so why do I feel like I am falling behind? It is because the game is rigged against accumulation. The system is designed to devalue your labor and devalue your savings faster than you can build them. And this creates the most dangerous illusion of all, the paper rich versus real poor dynamic. We live in a society obsessed with net worth. You see people posting their net worth updates online, bragging about hitting $500,000 or $1 million, but let's peel back the layers of that onion. For most people, that net worth is tied up in two things, their primary residence and their retirement accounts. Let's say you own a house worth $800,000 and you have $200,000 in a retirement account you can't touch until you are 59 and a half. Congratulations, you are a millionaire on paper. But can you eat your house? Can you shave off a few shingles from the roof to pay for your groceries? No, you are sitting inside a box of gold, starving to death. You are house rich and cash poor. You have a big number on a spreadsheet, but your bank account, your actual liquid cash, is hovering near zero. You are stressed about a $500 car repair bill despite being a millionaire. This is the great deception. Net worth is a vanity metric. It is for ego. Liquidity is for survival. I want to take a moment to validate what you are feeling right now because I know this is heavy. It feels unfair. And frankly, it is unfair. If you are looking at your parents or grandparents and wondering why it seemed so easy for them, stop. Stop beating yourself up. They played the game on easy mode. They bought houses when they cost 2 times the annual salary. You are buying houses that cost 10 times the annual salary. They had pensions. You have a volatile 401k. The economic environment has shifted from a tailwind to a headwind. You are climbing a mountain in a hurricane while they took the escalator. So drop the guilt. The shame you feel about not having enough money isn't entirely your fault. It is a feature of the system, not a bug in your character. But here is the thing. Knowing it's not your fault doesn't save you. The world doesn't care about fair. The market doesn't care about your feelings. You can stay mad or you can get smart. You can keep crying about the unfairness or you can change your strategy. So, how do we escape? How do we get off this treadmill before we collapse? We need a complete tactical overhaul. We need to burn the old rule book. The first step is a massive paradigm shift. You need to stop obsessing over the number. Forget the $1 million, forget the $2 million. Those are static targets in a dynamic world. Instead, I want you to become obsessed with one thing, cash flow. monthly, recurring, cash flow. Why? Because a pile of cash gets eaten by inflation. But an asset that produces cash flow can adjust with inflation. If you own a rental property, when inflation goes up, what happens to rent? It goes up. If you own a business, when costs go up, you raise prices. Cash flow is alive. It breathes. It adapts. A savings account is dead. It just sits there and rots. We need to move you from an accumulation mindset, which is hoarding nuts for winter, to a production mindset, which is planting trees that grow nuts forever. To do this, we are going to build a new financial foundation. I call it the new three-legged stool. The old stool was Social Security, a pension, and savings. That stool is broken. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme running on fumes. Pensions are extinct, and savings are losing value. Here is your new stool. Leg number 1, high-income skills. This is the engine. You cannot save your way to wealth if you are making $40,000 a year. The math just doesn't work. You need to aggressively increase your shovel. I am talking about skills that the marketplace values right now: sales, copywriting, coding, digital marketing, consulting. You need to view your primary income not as a paycheck to pay bills, but as seed capital for your freedom. You need to invest in yourself ferociously. The best hedge against inflation is your own ability to earn money. If the dollar collapses, your skill set is still valuable. If you can sell in any economy. If you can solve expensive problems, people will always pay you. Stop asking for a raise and start becoming worth more. Leg number 2, cash flow assets. This is where the magic happens. You need to take the excess capital from leg 1 and funnel it into things that pay you to own them. I am not talking about buying a stock and praying it goes up in 10 years. That is speculation. I am talking about dividend growth stocks, companies that have paid and raised dividends for 25 years. You buy them, they pay you quarterly, you reinvest that money, it compounds. I am talking about real estate, not your primary home. That's a liability. I mean a duplex where the tenant pays the mortgage and puts $500 in your pocket every month. I am talking about digital businesses, creating a course, writing an ebook, building a YouTube channel, assets that work while you sleep. Your goal is to build enough monthly passive income to cover your base expenses, your food, shelter, and utilities. Once your passive income covers your survival, you are free. You are retired. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million or $50,000. If the checks coming in cover the bills going out, you have won. Leg number 3, the health hedge. This is the one nobody talks about in finance videos, but it is critical. Remember that medical inflation we talked about? The only way to fight it is to not get sick. I know, accidents happen, genetics are real, but 80% of modern chronic diseases are lifestyle related. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, these are wealth killers. A gym membership is cheaper than a triple bypass. Eating organic food is cheaper than insulin. You need to treat your body like a financial asset. Every hour you spend exercising is an investment in reducing your future liabilities. If you neglect this leg, it doesn't matter how much cash flow you have, the hospital will take it all. And finally, we need to talk about liquidity, the liquidity rule. Most financial gurus tell you to keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. That is cute. In this economy, with this volatility, that is suicide. You need a year. You need a fortress of solitude made of cash, and stop locking every single dime you have into 401ks and IRAs. I get the tax benefits, sure, but you cannot touch that money without a penalty until you are old. What if you spot an opportunity today? What if you want to retire at 40? You can't bridge the gap because your money is in prison. You need a bridge fund, a taxable brokerage account, or a high-yield savings account that you can access instantly. Cash is options. Cash is the ability to say no to a bad boss. Cash is the ability to pounce on a market crash when everyone else is selling. Do not trade your liquidity for a slightly lower tax bill. So let's bring this all home. Let's zoom out and look at the battlefield. The dream of the $1 million lump sum is dead. It was murdered by the Federal Reserve, strangled by corporate greed, and buried by the healthcare industry. If you keep chasing that number, you are going to wake up at 65 years old, tired, broken, and realizing that your mountain of gold is actually a pile of dust. The system is counting on you to be passive. It is counting on you to just put your money in a target date fund and hope for the best. It wants you to be a good little consumer who works until you drop. But you are not going to do that. You are going to wake up. You are going to realize that net worth is a vanity metric and cash flow is the only king that matters. You are going to stop trying to save $1 million and start trying to build $5,000 a month in passive income. That is the new target. It is smaller, it is tangible, and it is actually achievable. You don't need $1 million tomorrow. You need your first $10 of passive income today. The moment you earn your first dollar while you are sleeping, the matrix breaks. The chains loosen. Do not let the big numbers scare you into paralysis. That is what they want. They want you to feel so hopeless that you don't even try. They want you to think, I'll never save $1 million, so I might as well buy a new truck and enjoy the decline. No, we fight back. We fight back by getting smarter. We fight back by building streams, not ponds. We fight back by taking control of our health and our skills. This is not just about money. This is about freedom. It is about dignity. It is about looking at your future self in the mirror and saying, I got you. You have the blueprint now. The illusion has been shattered. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to close this video and go back to sleep? Or are you going to take the first step towards building a fortress that inflation cannot destroy? If this video helped you see the matrix code, if it woke you up from the nightmare of the average investor, I want you to comment "Cash flow is king" down below. Let the algorithm know that we are not falling for the old lies anymore. And make sure you are subscribed. I am King, and I am here to help you win the game of money in a world designed to make you lose. The choice is yours. Make it count. I'll see you on the other side.